If you thought that Rogue was the only class capable of generating the most disgusting turn 5 boards, then you need to see this rank 1 Legend Priest deck. Maxie was able to reach rank 1 Legend with his take of Combo Bless Priest. And honestly, I had the time of my life trying out this deck yesterday on stream. For the first time in over 3 months, I was actually able to reach double digits in high Legend. And I plan on trying to achieve single digit Legend by the end of the season. And honestly, I'm thinking this might be the deck that I try to achieve such a feat with. Not only is this deck strong, but it is amazing against Miracle Rogue. The power of this deck lies solely on Radiant Elemental synergies doing disgusting things in combination with Handmaiden and Priestess Valish. And the reason why this deck is so consistent is because of Switcheroo tutoring out our minions perfectly. Very similar to Rogue using Shroud of Concealment. And this is part of the reason why Pelagos is no longer in this deck, due to the fact that it screws up with the consistency of Handmaiden and Valish combos. Because if I'm being honest, the only reason you're able to scam games is because of the consistency and the mana cheat possible of the Valish Legendary. However, I need to warn you guys about something, because this is a mistake that I made all the time while playing this deck, and if I can prevent even one person from making this mistake, then my mistakes are worth it. The issue that I had with Valish was when I was trying to refresh more mana than I actually had possible. So make sure that if you're trying to go for a 6 mana play on turn 5, that you at least have the coin ready after you've refreshed 5 mana. But it's not just Valish high rolls that enables this deck to be so consistent. The main win condition of this deck is Boon of the Ascended. This card is so powerful that its played win rate is actually higher than Bless. So to be honest, instead of calling this Bless Priest, we should be calling it Boon Priest. However, like Bless, you don't want to keep Boon of the Ascended in your opening mulligan. The mulligan of this deck is very straightforward, similar to Miracle Rogue. You just want to find the cards that give you the minions as quickly as possible. You're always going to keep Switcheroo, Handmaiden, and Thrive of the Shadows due to the fact that it's the most consistent way of finding your minions and drawing through your deck. Radiant Elemental is hard to judge because the card is so crucial to pop off with the combo, but it's not a card you want to keep in your mulligan every single game. If you have Switcheroo ready in hand, I would go ahead and keep Radiant Elemental because you have a better chance of hitting Handmaiden and Valish. But if you're not on the coin and Radiant Elemental is just sitting in your hand without any real cards to get value out of it, you're probably safe to throw it away. And cards like Illuminate, Identity Theft, and Valish are okay to keep in combination with other cards. If you have a Shard of the Naru in hand, you can easily play Illuminate on turn 1 and then trade with a Shard of the Naru and potentially hit Switcheroo or a 0 mana Identity Theft. And we'll get into why Identity Theft is nuts here in a second. But you can also keep this card in the mulligan because against Druid, being able to ramp mana is extremely effective. But you really don't want to keep these 3 cards without trying to support them in one way or another. Now let's take a moment to talk about Identity Theft, because this card performed ridiculously consistently whenever I was playing it. It wasn't even the fact that I could sometimes play it for 0 mana thanks to Illuminate. Being able to find cards like Moonlit Guidance from Druid, for example, is utterly insane with this deck since we're playing so many 0 mana cards. In the Druid matchup, I was able to find Ramp, I was able to find spells that cost 0 mana thanks to Radiant Elementals. In the Rogue matchup, you're able to find cards like Shadow Step, which personally didn't happen to me, but imagine Shadow Step with Valish just for a second. And the best part about this deck is that the only real weakness that it has is Mage's freeze capability. Now that Shaman is not as popular on the ladder, freeze mechanics are only limited to about 1 class, so we can afford to have 1 class give us some frustrations on the ladder when we're literally high rolling everything else. And before you tell me that Radiant Elemental is weak to silence, you need to double check how Boon of the Ascended works with the minions that you target. Because after you play Boon of the Ascended, it automatically plays the minion as solid stats. Because as soon as you play Boon of the Ascended, the minion that it summons has those stats naturally. So even if your opponent plays a Smothering Starfish, your Boon of the Ascended minion is already where you need it to potentially OTK with a Blessed target, which is the main reason why this deck is so good. Its only weakness seems to be Mage right now. Maybe Hunters have the tools in order to pressure us in the early game in order to kill us before our combo pops off, but we're usually popping off this combo as early as turn 5. And some Hunters just straight up haven't killed you by then, and you're also a Priest playing healing cards, essentially for 0 mana. So I'm still of the firm belief that Mage is the only real weakness of this deck, as well as potentially Shaman only due to their freeze mechanics. But I had an amazingly fun climb playing this deck and eventually hitting double-digit legend. And I can't wait to start the grind for single-digit legend over at my Twitch stream. So if you would like to see that grind this month, make sure to hop on over to twitch.tv/ClarkHellScream. And as always, if you enjoy this kind of content, feel free to like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel for even more content.